Did you know that some luxury cars actually lose half their value in just a few years? Imagine paying over $100 grand for a car and then watching it sink in value faster than a smartphone. Most people think buying a luxury car is the ultimate flex, but the truth is, some of them are money pits that bleed your wallet dry. And today, I'm breaking down the 10 worst luxury cars that waste your money. Stick around, because number 1 is a car so unreliable that even the brand's biggest fans admitted it was a disaster. Maserati Gibli. A Maserati Gibli looks like a dream. Italian design, that Trident badge, and a Ferrari-related engine sound. But here's the ugly truth. The Gibli is one of the worst luxury money pits of the last decade. First, depreciation. A brand new Gibli starts around $80,000, but within 5 years, the resale value can sink to less than $25,000. That's almost a $50,000 loss, just gone. Then there's reliability. Owners constantly complain about electrical gremlins, engine issues, and the car spending more time at the dealership than on the road. And when it breaks, you're looking at massive repair bills. Something as simple as replacing a brake rotor can cost thousands. So yes, you'll get stares when you drive by, but if you keep it long enough, you'll also get headaches, empty pockets, and a long list of repairs. BMW 7 Series. BMW is known for its sporty luxury cars, but the 7 Series, their flagship sedan, is a different story. Here's why it wastes money. The 7 Series is loaded with complicated tech, from gesture controls to active suspension. Sounds cool, right? The problem is, all that tech ages badly. After just a few years, sensors start failing, screens glitch, and fixing these features costs thousands. The 7 Series also suffers from terrible depreciation. A $100,000 7 Series can be found used for under $30,000 after 6 years. Sounds like a good deal for a used buyer, but if you bought it new? Ooh. Even BMW fans admit the 7 Series feels more like a showcase of tech gimmicks than a long-lasting car. So, unless you're leasing, this car is basically a money pit on wheels.
Jaguar XJ. Jaguar has always had a reputation for style and class, but also for unreliability. The XJ is the perfect example. On the outside, it looks gorgeous. On the inside, it's a nightmare. Owners report issues with air suspension, engine problems, and electronics that seem allergic to working properly. And don't forget the resale value. Luxury buyers know Jaguars don't hold up, so demand is low. That means the XJ loses value much faster than rivals from Mercedes or Audi. Here's the kicker. A Jaguar XJ can cost you more in repairs in 5 years than some people spend on an entire brand new Toyota. No joke. Cadillac CT6. Cadillac wanted the CT6 to compete with the Germans. On paper, it should have worked. Roomy interior, tech features, and a hybrid option. But here's what happened. Poor reliability and almost no resale demand. The CT6 never shook off Cadillac's reputation for being behind the times. Even though it had features like a plug-in hybrid, people simply didn't want to pay big money for a Cadillac sedan. The result? Depreciation through the floor. A CT6 that cost $80,000 new can drop to under $25,000 used. That's luxury car money evaporating. Add in parts that are hard to find and high repair costs, and you've got another car that wastes your cash. Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Certain years. Now, this one might shock you. The Mercedes S-Class is often called the best car in the world, but not every generation deserves that title. Models from the early 2000s, especially, like the W220 S-Class, are known for being horrible money pits. Air suspension failures, electrical nightmares, rust problems, you name it, those cars had it. Even more modern S-Class models can rack up shocking repair bills. A simple suspension fix can cost more than $5,000.
And as these cars age, they lose value like crazy because buyers know the repair costs are insane. So yes, the S-Class is comfortable and packed with tech, but if you're unlucky with the model year, it's basically a ticking financial time bomb.
Audi A8. Audi's flagship sedan, the A8, is another example of a car that looks amazing on the surface but eats money in the long run. One major issue? Reliability. The A8 is loaded with complicated electronics, and when they go bad, fixing them is a nightmare. Air suspension failures are common, and they cost thousands to repair. Depreciation is also brutal. An Audi A8 that cost $90,000 new can easily be found used for less than $20,000 after 8 years. That's an enormous loss of value. So while you might love the look and feel of the A8, financially, it's one of the worst luxury cars you can buy. Land Rover, Range Rover. Ah, the Range Rover. It screams status. Celebrities love it. But here's the truth. Owning one is like signing up for a lifetime subscription to your mechanic's wallet. Range Rovers have one of the worst reliability ratings in the luxury car world. Problems with suspension, electronics, and even engines are common. And because parts and labor are expensive, every repair feels like it's priced in gold. Owners often report spending thousands of dollars every single year just to keep the car running. Depreciation? Also terrible. A new Range Rover that costs $120,000 can drop to $40,000 in a handful of years. Unless you have endless money, a Range Rover is basically a luxury nightmare. Maserati Quattroporte. Yes, Maserati shows up on this list again. The Quattroporte is their flagship sedan, and unfortunately, it's just as bad financially as the Gibli. Not only does it lose value insanely fast, but it's also plagued with reliability issues. Electrical problems, suspension issues, and random breakdowns are all part of the package. The Quattroporte is also ridiculously expensive to maintain. Even an oil change can cost $500 or more, and major repairs can easily run into the thousands. So while the name sounds exotic and the styling is beautiful, the ownership experience is often a nightmare. Bentley Continental GT early models. Owning a Bentley sounds like the dream, right? But the Continental GT, especially older models, can be a total disaster. First, depreciation. That $200,000 car, you can find early models for under $40,000 today. That's a jaw-dropping loss. Second, maintenance. A Bentley is basically a Volkswagen dressed in a tuxedo. But unlike a VW, parts and labor cost a fortune. A single repair can be more than $10,000. And because these cars are so complex, they constantly need something fixed. If you buy one thinking you're getting a bargain luxury car, chances are you'll regret it quickly. Maybach 57 and 62. And now for the number one worst luxury car that wastes your money, the Maybach 57 and 62. When Mercedes revived the Maybach brand in the early 2000s, they wanted to compete with Rolls-Royce. But here's the truth. The cars were a massive failure. They were based on an old Mercedes platform. They looked too much like an S-Class, and they simply didn't justify their $350,000 price tag. Depreciation was insane. A Maybach 57 or 62 that costs hundreds of thousands new can now be found for less than $70,000. That's like buying a mansion and watching it turn into a shack in a few years. On top of that, maintenance costs are outrageous. Parts are rare, labor is expensive, and reliability is questionable. Even luxury car collectors often avoid them, which says a lot.
Which of these cars shocked you the most? Would you still buy one of them if you had the money? Drop your answer in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you liked this breakdown, make sure to check out my next video.